Okay, happy day after Halloween. Happy, is it All Souls Day? Happy Ash
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Or
No, Ash
Dan.
Wednesday is Easter, right? Not Halloween. I'm
Yeah.
thinking of All Souls.
This would be All Souls Day or
Yeah,
Dia de los Muertos or whatever
the
in
Day of the
Mexican.
Dead.
Yes, it's Day of the Dead, same thing. I think it
Oh, I
is.
didn't know that was today either.
There's a bunch of people doing There's a bunch of people dressed up in Day of the Dead stuff for when I was out earlier, so I assumed it's Day of the Dead, but maybe they just
Yeah,
do
you're
that.
right. November 2nd and 1st and 2nd. So today and
Hmm.
tomorrow. And then
Yeah.
in the Catholic tradition, it was All Souls Day. So happy all of that. And if you're not religious or not Catholic or Christian, just happy
Then go
Wednesday
fuck yourself. Just kidding.
or whatever day it is.
If you're not Catholic or religious or something, go get some religion and come back when you're. Just kidding. None of us are really outside into religion, but
Yeah. I haven't met anyone yet that's not at least mythological.
right. I mean, everybody. I don't know. I've met a couple of people at least attempted to be fully concrete sequential, but even the most anti-conspiracy, anti-metaphysical, supernatural person, whether they realize it or not, they end up having some slight like they end up like at some point they'll have some belief that they'll suddenly realize that, oh shit, that's kind of the same thing, but it doesn't
It shows up
happen.
in psychology. It shows up in their understanding of themselves and other people.
Yeah,
It takes on a mythological form.
definitely.
So, let me turn my banner on. Other than that, we don't really have anything going on today. We're just doing our normal stream. My voice is kind of weak today for some reason. Maybe it's just old age.
So I thought that's got what I was been wondering like the last couple of days too. I'm like sometimes I'm like
Like,
my brain fog and everything. I sometimes I think it's like this or that. But then it's like maybe I'm just getting old. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything wrong with me or I'm just aging rapidly from stress and such. Tell you what, like having like chronic the pain and the vertigo, and then like top of that having to deal with like trying to see how you're going to pay bills every month. I've always heard that from people, but having lived it for as long as I have now, I can tell you, yeah, it does age you. Believe it or not, 4 years ago, we saw what my hair was like. I actually had a full head of hair 4 years ago, and my beard wasn't white. So,
oh, that all
all of
happened.
that all
This
happened since
during
since all the bullshit that took ever since like the stuff with that girl Angie and everything happened, all the medical stuff that's what put all the age on my face and like all the white. I didn't think that. I kind of thought that was just like people just like joked about the sort of thing, like, oh yeah, it was, my third kid, that's the reason I lost my hair or something, like, people make jokes like that. But in this case, like, I mean, maybe it could be a coincidence. Totally, it probably is a coincidence. Probably would have happened at the same time anyway, regardless. But it certainly feels like at the end of the day, whenever like I had. I'll see if I can show you a picture now. Granted, I was also fat prior to that too. So like 4 or 5 years ago, I was also pretty fat. So it's a much different look.
oh, so you drop weight too.
I lost weight too, but usually losing weight usually improves your overall health and stuff like that. I didn't look as massive as I was. But I was like 350 at my highest weight, and I didn't
Wow,
even know it until like later on. I looked back and I was just like, holy shit, how was I ever that big? But yeah, see if I can find a picture. I'll show it to you if I can find one. Probably on my Facebook or something, I guess, but I think I might have some on the computer. Let's see here. Uh, Not many, really. I guess I'm gonna have to go on my phone, my saved phone stuff or something. Lots and lots of pictures of like concert stuff. I never was much of a selfie person. It's usually someone else that took the pictures of me, but here we go. Here's a bunch of them if they'll load. The wrong time period, though. Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, it's I'll find some maybe. Maybe well, maybe won't. Anyway, yeah, I really it was just today's just been paying rent. You know, we scraped that together and got the rent thing paid and got our things so they don't tow our car and fun stuff like that.
Mm.
Nothing too terribly exciting, to be honest. Just a bunch of. See, where's the? Darn it! I'm trying to just go to Google Photos because that's where all my photos are stored. So that would have the things, but it just won't pull it up for some reason. It makes me go like search it on Google and then click the link. It's just dumb. I don't care. Photos. What do you mean? I have tons of photos. Wrong account. Okay, yeah, that's the cool thing. Google Photos, it'll actually it'll actually organize everything back in terms of ages too. So I can just go back to the years, go back to the relevant years here. We're talking about like 2019 and before. So see where I was at in if you'll load them up. Yeah, right here. Okay. Is she okay? Yeah, here's a good one. I'll just share the screen here. You won't even think it's the same person. Dear God. Here, take that like that. That's a picture of me from 2016.
Oh, the beard's bigger, but otherwise, I would recognize you.
Yeah, you could recognize me, but you can tell. I guess you really can't see how much fatter I was, like body wise. There's a few pictures like that, but still.
Do you have pictures of yourself with hair?
Yeah, I got some. This is the first one I found. Let me see what else. I've got. Like I said, I was never a big selfie person, so I don't have as many pictures of me as like I do of like I have tons of pictures of like my kid and of Lindsay and stuff like that. You know, I don't really take a lot of pictures of myself. So let's see here. I know I'm bound to have some though, because I've seen them and been horrified from them by them before.
You have a hat on in most of them.
Yeah, and the ones in that one certainly. And then I also I started shaving my head. Like I started losing my hair, but it would still. Mostly I just had a bald spot. I didn't really have I wasn't bald. I just had like a bald spot in the back. But if you see something from the front, I still look like I had a full head of hair. But I've just always been a hat person. I've always worn hats. So that's unfortunately a lot of the pictures I have are of me with hats. But I know I have some without hats. I'm just trying to figure out what. I have so many pictures. Yeah.
Yep.
That was from the Ev Montreal, the really good Ev Montreal show. I got tons of pictures from that because they were so freaking. It was like an insane one. That they did they went through like the whole catalog and they did the. He did. I'm pretty bald in most of these, but I always kept my hair really short. When my hair started getting thin, I never let it grow out anymore. Here we go. This is getting more like the picture I was talking about. I'm not. I still have a hat on every one of them. God damn it! This was my Dale Cooper outfit, though. You can see that the one I mentioned.
Oh yeah.
So I got the shirt.
Looks like
I got
in the diner.
Yep. And Lindsay with her log lady outfit.
Oh, the log. Yeah, that's a big log. Damn. Oh, it's inflatable.
Yeah, it's actually a pillow.
Okay.
Actually a pillow. So that was and I was quite a bit fatter on that. And then what's this stuff here? This was what? I can't remember what show that was. Lots of different shows here. Why? You're right, man. I have a hat on in every freaking picture. I barely have like any. I really have anything where I don't have a hat on. Here's one I guess that I had. That's probably I don't look that fat there, but I don't know. I might have photoshopped it too. I think that was my Lyft driver photo, but like this one, I mean that's what. So I mean, I wasn't. I was, but I was like I got up to like 350 pounds, and yet I was still. And yet I was, but I didn't like look that big, but I wasn't 350, and it was only that one that was further up there with the beard. I was around like 250, 275 in most of these, as I was for years and years, but it was just a very unhealthy in terms of just a very unhealthy body weight for me. My doctor was always telling me I need to be down to like at least 175 for my height and build, but you know that goes. You know, always doesn't always work out the way you want it to. But yeah, I started. Here's one from this was the one I had on the Cracked website for a long time. I don't really look that bad there.
I like that shirt.
Yeah, that was a cool shirt. I think it's one of the many ones. One of the many ones that got destroyed in our storage. Like that's the place I've been. There I'm with hair. See, I have hair.
Okay.
Hair existed. There, see, you can see my hair. I'm not like.
I don't know if I'd call it a full head of hair, but yeah.
No, but still, I still had even with like whenever like when I shaved my head recently before I shaved it, like there was nothing on top. I didn't do anything to that. That's just where my hair was. I'm saying I had hair on top of my head though. Like going back just a few years, and like you can see my beard wasn't. The beard had a little bit of gray in it here, and this is 2016, and this is around when the trouble started, and then if you go back far enough to say, if I really go back in time here.
Oh God, you look like something out of The Shining.
But I you know, like there's the lack of gray on the hair on the top, and I don't really have a beard in this one, but you can see there, like I don't really have a ton of, you know, my whole family has thin hair, so it's not like, or here's a good one. You see my beard is not white there, just like that, and that was 2013, so that wasn't that far, much further back, but that's when that was before the trouble started. And Lindsay has changed a lot, man. She looks so different in some of these pictures from like the girl she looks like today. It's crazy. Look at these pictures sometimes, it just like blows me away. This is Kel, the guy that was on that. He's on that track Kyoto. Doing like the first part of it. There's a Kokobata. He was a pretty big. He was one of the original gangster rappers from way back when. A lot of pictures of. Here's a great picture of me. You can always remember.
Girl.
There's some entertaining content for this stream.
You look like a Satanist.
Yeah, I mean, except for I guess in a lot of my ethos and a lot of my my philosophies and things, I have a lot of commonalities with Satanism. I just not with the Satan part. It's like the only part I really diverge from. Just because I don't really, just because I see Satan as a literary construct, not an entity really. But
well, he is a literary character.
Yeah, I agree. And here's the girl.
So is Jesus, and so is Yahweh.
Probably, yeah. I agree that is more likely the case. I still, for whatever reason, I have more belief in the concept of Christ for some reason, and I know it's not logical.
Well, even if he existed, we only know him as a literary character. I
agree. Yeah. I agree with that. This is the girl that ruined everything. So that's what she looked like. Oh, that started all the problems. She's a pretty girl, though. Pretty girl.
She looks like Shoe on Head.
She does kind of. You're right. Yeah, I never thought about that. There's like so many. This is also Six Flags with Clover when she was younger.
Six Flags Dallas.
Oh yeah. We used to have season passes there, and we used to go there all the time. We had the season passes with
that one.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I love Six Flags.
This is this crazy Bloody Mary that we got. I got Lindsay on her birthday one year.
It looks like it has a hamburger in it.
It does. It has a
Oh my
hamburger
god!
and like
What's that thing that looks like a claw or a flower?
bacon. Is there bacon
Oh
and
my
there
god!
and there's
Who
there's
makes
a
that? What place is
fried
this from? Is
chicken.
that from that Heart Attack restaurant?
No, this is a. I can't remember the name of it right now. I could find it then, again though. Yeah, I mean, it's really weird. It's a Michelin star rated restaurant that's in the back of a weird gas station. It's really strange. It's this really odd place. I can't remember what it's called now. I mean, this has been what was this? This was 2016, so it's been a few years. I've had a few years put on my brain since then, but I could find it again if I looked it up. So to look up crazy, that was kind of a trend, I guess, for a while with like the trend for places doing Bloody Marys was that they would do they would just pack the Bloody Marys, all sorts of crazy crap. You know, it would be everything from chicken sandwiches to fingers to everything else. You know, it's just like yeah. Yeah, lots and lots of here's that's when we went to Dick Clover to the water park thing. Bunch of Legos she wanted, stuff like that. Most of this is pretty boring.
Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah, that's right. I definitely have that kind of vibe on. Here's one of Lindsay's paintings. That's a good view of like
You made
what's
that?
wrong. No, Lindsay.
Lindsay did?
Oh yeah, this is Lindsay. Lindsay's a very talented artist.
Wow. I love it.
She's an extremely talented artist. She
What
makes
kind of
amazing
paint?
paintings.
Is it acrylic?
She uses everything from acrylic to oil to just depends on what strikes her fancy. She's even known to use inks and she sometimes she just uses like Sharpies. But she mixes it, but then she'll take the Sharpies and then she'll paint over that and stuff like that. So it's like it's I guess what they call mixed media, I guess in that sense. Here's another one.
Oh wow. Yeah, I
She's
like that a lot.
She is. I've been telling her for ever since she first did her first like kind of art piece back whenever we were in Texarkana. She had never painted or never that she'd never studied it or did anything like that. And one day she just made this. She'd always like colored with our dog with Clover. And one day she went and what after Clover got done coloring, she just kept going and she made this picture, just with like the color of the crayons actually. And I was like, that's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen, Lindsay. Like why haven't you where has this been hiding why the whole time I've known you, you know, like I had no idea you could do anything like this. And she was like, I don't know, I just did it, you know. She was like she had never tried to do it before. And so I encouraged the hell out of her, just told her like, you know, you need to you need to do this as often as possible. You need to, you know, develop this, because like I think you really, I wish I had a picture of like that first one because that first one is still is I'm saying it's my I just have a sentimental attachment to it. It's around here somewhere. It's just on paper too. It's on a canvas. But I went out and started buying her paints and acrylic paints and oil paint and canvas and stuff like that. And she started doing. Yeah, and she really is. She's I mean, in my opinion, like I really genuinely believe that Lindsay is. If, like I'm really not very. I really like paintings very much in general. I find them to be fine, you know, like in general. But like, I look at them and then I move on from it, and it's like I never. It's like I don't really feel like I need to look
Yeah,
at
I'm the
it.
same
Like,
way. I can't see all the stuff in a painting that art people can see.
right, exactly. Like you know, people that talk, especially stuff like Jackson Pollock and stuff like that, where I'm just like, I don't understand. It's a nice color palette you picked out, but beyond that, I just don't see the art in it. Like even the way he made his paintings, it was just like he was just splattering paint onto things, and with occasionally with a nice color palette, and a lot of times the color palette wasn't even that good.
Who is
And
this?
people, Jackson Pollock.
Oh yeah, no, I was about to say that's the one painting they have one at the Seattle Art Museum, and that's the one painting that seeing it live in person in front of me
That changed
completely
something.
was it was the probably the most powerful experience in the whole museum. It was completely
Really?
different than seeing a photo of it. If you see a live Jackson Pollock
Hmm.
painting, it changed everything about the way I see his work.
Well, I
And that
certainly
was the
believe
only
that.
painting in the entire museum that had that effect on me.
Huh. I would love to see one in real life then, because I've seen all these pictures of it, and all I can think is like, why is this? Every time I see a Jackson Pollock painting, I'm just like, why does anyone like this?
It's a
Like
lot more textured for one. Like the texture really came out, so you could see layers, and
I can understand texture. I mean, I understand
it
like
was
that.
really intricate to look at. I stared at it for like minutes.
Well, yeah, but I mean, and that is cool. Like maybe I would definitely would. I'd be happy to be wrong. Anytime there's something like that where like I don't get it, I always want to get it. I want that moment. I want to have that moment where it's like, oh, I get it now, kind of thing. And I generally don't. But with most things, but yeah, certainly not with Jackson Pollock. But nonetheless, um, I do think that what I'm trying to say. I do think that whenever I first saw that first drawing slash painting that Lindsay did, it was just the Sharpies and stuff like that. Like I seriously stared at that thing for hours. Like it absolutely entranced me. And it's not just because like she's my wife. I mean, she's drawn things before. She's done other things. She's even got mad at me for like being dismissive about. Cause she used to do a lot of graphic artwork and stuff like that, just like on Photoshop, just like doing like collages and stuff like that. And she used to get mad at me because like I didn't think much of them. I mean, I didn't think they were bad. I didn't like say that she sucked or something like that. But she also she had a really bad tendency of like over overusing fonts. Like she made like a flyer for something. She'd use like a different font for every line, and I really hate that. And I don't know. I did graphic design professionally for a long time, so I have like a little so I'd be real critical about that sort of thing. So and I'm really critical about painting and stuff like that in general. So whenever like I saw that painting and it grabbed me the way it did. I just it kind of like blew me away because I was like I honestly never had I ever had that reaction to a painting before. And so I do think that she's got a special talent. But it's a hard world to get into. I've taken some of her stuff to some of the galleries and stuff around here, and like a couple of them showed interest, but then I never heard back. And then, of course, that was right before the whole everything went tits up. So I might try it again. Now that we're getting things more settled down, she has tons of paintings that I wish I could tell them. I wish I could show them to you. I don't know where I think she has most of the photos. I'm not sure where they are. Like she has some really really great stuff. It's all abstract stuff like that, but she has a style all of her own. She doesn't her paintings don't look like anybody else's. The only other painter I think I've ever been able to compare her stuff to, and it's not. It's just because of the way she uses angles and she uses like this really interesting contrast between like really sharp, hard angles and lines, and these really natural kind of like squiggly, kind of like I don't know, like naturalistic, kind of like flowing like amoeba like shapes too, that kind of contrast each other along with it. And she always has like this theme of like these portal like things in them. I don't know. I find them really fascinating, and I've been trying to encourage her to try to do it as much as possible. But she, granted, with the schizophrenia and everything, it's been hard for her to concentrate on painting, so she hasn't really done much lately. But she's still my favorite painter, that's for sure. Anyway,
Anything going on in the world today? I haven't looked at social
dude,
media really.
I
Let
have
me
not even. I
let
haven't
me
even
check the
wanted to.
news just to
Yeah,
see.
yeah. Let's check the news. Let's just see. Let's see what horrible torture we're headed for now.
Um, First group arrives in Egypt. Americans leave Gaza for the first time. So some of the Americans coming back. There's a Trump civil fraud trial begins, but I don't think that's the same one as the one with the indictment, the conspiracy one.
Okay, yet another one.
There's no like major headlines grabbing me. It's just continuations of existing stories. Okay, so no.
I mean,
From what I can see.
like I've said before, I hope they, I hope they get the fucker in jail, but somehow I doubt it though.
You hope that
Just,
what?
Trump, I hope they manage to put the fucker in jail, but I just doubt that it's gonna happen.
I don't know. That indictment looked pretty airtight to me. Like, I don't
Yeah,
think they
I
would have
know.
put the charges in it if they didn't have the evidence for it. And if they do, I don't see how he's going to get around it.
Well, that's true. I mean, I don't know how he's gonna get around it either, but
I mean, it was 40 something pages of very detailed accusations.
I still didn't see a lot in it that made the thing that I mean, when I read through it, and I finally did read through most of it we talked about last time. There's definitely a lot of detailed accusations, and the fact that so many people have turned code on him at this point, that definitely has that definitely looks bad for him. But I gotta say, but prior
Well,
to
no one
that,
wants to
though,
go down with him or for him.
right? Yeah. I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, I wouldn't stand for that dude either. I don't understand like why people have been why he's like why no one's managed to. If he's as bad as everybody says he is, I mean, I don't know him. I don't know much about. I mean, all I know is the accusations I hear. I mean, I certainly don't. I don't like the kind of guy he is. I don't like that slime ball kind of like.
He's a narcissist. I mean, he's a narcissist, and I don't
Yeah,
love
he's just a
narcissists.
narcissist slime ball. I mean, he's just like an icky person that I wouldn't actually want to.
I used to watch The Apprentice. I knew that from just watching him on TV, like years before he even started the campaign.
I
That's
never
why
even found
it shocked me so much that he even won the primary.
I mean, even though I'll admit that he can occasionally be funny, I don't really find him that entertaining either.
No, I didn't either.
I didn't find him entertaining on The Apprentice. I didn't find him
I didn't
entertaining.
watch it for him. I liked the show, like the game
Right.
element, but I didn't watch it for him.
Yeah, I only reason I watched it is because like my writing partner that I was making the movie with, he was obsessed with it. So I saw the entire second season from beginning to end, and some of the first season too. But once he went to Brazil, I didn't watch it anymore. I stopped watching it right away. But anyway,
And the indictment is not just Trump; it's a bunch of other
no, it's a
people
lot
too.
of people.
So
Yeah,
it's
there's
not
a
like
lot to it.
this is what this one awful person did.
I just don't know that it's going to have the. I just don't know that when I saw. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's very damning, but I don't know that any of it can be provable that he actually with that you can prove that he did knowingly do these things with the intention of doing what they're saying. Some people did, but I don't know if you can say that he did. Now, once again, I hope they put him in jail just because
Well, the
I'm fucking sick of
indictment
him.
lays out all the parts that he did.
Mm.
So, like that's what I'm saying. The indictment is so well written that if they have the evidence to demonstrate what's in the indictment, I don't see how there's any doubt that they're going to be able to prove that. Because
Yeah,
the indictment even foresees it. Like it may seem like Trump didn't know this, but then look at this, this, and this. It may seem like Trump might have been unaware, but then look at this, this, and this. So they counter every possible speculation that he what was it, mens rea?
right. Yeah, I see what you mean. Well, in any case, I hope they get him. It's because nothing else. Because I'm sick of seeing him in the. I'm sick of seeing stuff about him in the news and stuff like that. I don't think he brings anything truly valuable or interesting to the national conversation. At this point, he's nothing more than just a freaking. Just he's just a pariah. He just like him. I just want him to go away. I mean, I don't really care if he goes to jail per se, but I just would like him to not be around so much anymore. I'm just tired of hearing about Trump. I'm also, to be fair, I'm also tired of hearing about Hillary and Biden and the rest of them too. They're all old fuckers that are all on their way out anyway, and like I just don't feel like they have anything truly useful to add to the political conversation anymore. They have worn out their welcome, in my opinion. But
I don't really see a lot of stuff about Trump lately.
oh, I haven't lately. Not in the day.
I saw that
Yeah.
one little clip where he was like giving a speech in some town and he got the name of the town wrong, or didn't even know the town he was in, and they made a big deal about that. But it's like little things like that come across my feed every now and then. But now that this civil trial started, maybe we'll see more. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to. Even when I do see it, I don't really pay attention to it.
All I can say is that, I mean, there just isn't anyone politically out there right now that in my opinion, that's worth paying attention to. Like in the world of politics right now, like there's just nobody that. The last politician I thought was kind of worth a damn was maybe Tulsi Gabbard. Maybe, I don't know.
Ooh. I don't like her at all.
You like her at all? Oh, I think she's all right.
I don't trust her. I don't like her.
Why don't you trust her? All right, what's untrustworthy about her?
I just don't.
I'm just
some
curious.
of the ties she has to some of the people and places she has ties to. I don't trust her that she's America first.
Really?
Yeah.
She's like real. As far as I know, she's real pro-Israel. She's like one of the people on the right side.
Well, I mean, I support her for that. I support anyone who's pro-Israel.
And she's like, I mean, she's been, I guess the people said she was like a sympathizer towards Iran, but she's just really anti-war. And I mean, she was actually a military medic for many years. I respect that. I don't know. I think she's at least she at least seems reasonable to me, but I don't know. She has gone a little nuts ever since like she kind of got thrown out of the party and stuff like that, or left the Democrat Party. So, I mean, like I used to, like I said, I used to have respect for Bernie, but now fuck that guy. I can't stand him. Every time he talks, I just want to like throw something at the screen. He's a fucking hypocrite. He's like the worst kind of hypocrite. The kind of hypocrite.
I never did like him. He seems like ranty grandpa. He just seems like a.
I don't mind a ranty grandpa. I don't mind a ranty grandpa.
What he's even doing in the Socialist Party? I mean, isn't he a millionaire or billionaire?
He is now.
He never seemed credible to me. He never seemed like the leader of a populist movement ever. I don't know what people saw in Bernie.
Well, the thing, his track record, if nothing else, his track record was pretty consistent and solid for years and years and years. He always kept to his principles about small donors only, and he didn't take money from big pharma and big corporations. He didn't do. I mean, there's a lot of things that he was consistently doing, and he consistently did for a long time. Until like that last presidential race, when suddenly all those suddenly he started slowly shifting somewhere in between. After he got his first big run, that's when he sold that he had a book that sold a lot, and that was when he first became a millionaire. And that's whenever he dropped the millionaires and billionaires thing. Suddenly it was billionaires and trillionaires, and that was the first that was the first shoe to drop for me anyway. I was never going to vote for him anyway, but in terms of like, at least I thought he had integrity.
Once they change class, they're going to adopt the interest of that class.
I guess so. I guess that's just the way it works. I mean, I think it's stupid to demonize a class in the first place. But at least he was consistent up to that point. At least he was consistent. Even if I didn't agree with Bernie. Don't get me wrong. I didn't agree with him. I didn't think he'd be a good president. I thought most of his ideas were kind of laughable, to be honest. I mean, besides Medicare for all in itself, I'm not against it at all. UBI, I'm not really against, but like a lot of his more specific his policy ideas and stuff, I just thought were mostly just kind of like just pie in the sky kind of stupid stuff. But at least I had respect for him as a politician because he was consistent and he hadn't done the whole he had one position until somebody gave him money and that sort of thing. Instead, like he made the money, especially since he's a socialist Democrat and all that stuff. But whenever suddenly, even though he still is. But he's a millionaire now, and now it's not now the millionaires aren't the ones at fault, and I just like that. I can't respect somebody like that. At least the last politician I truly had respect for, and I still do, is probably Ron Paul, because I don't agree with everything Ron Paul says either, but at least he was consistent the whole way through, all the way until he retired. He always maintained his principles. And at least I can respect somebody who has principles. I'm not saying he would have been a great president, or I'm not saying he would be the perfect politician, but at least with someone like Ron Paul, you knew what you're getting with Ron Paul. And he'd been doing. I mean, he was a congressman for what, like 50 years. I mean, he was as tenured as you get in that position. And he always maintained his positions about he wanted to abolish the IRS, he wanted to do this, he wanted to do that. And I can respect that. I can even though I think like the idea of abolishing the IRS seems a little silly, but he did actually have a plan for it that wasn't just like it wasn't just like day one, no more IRS. It was like there was a he had there was there was a logic to it. It was like I said, I didn't agree with him on everything, but I still felt like he was at least a principled and principled actor that was acting in good faith. And I don't feel like most politicians act in good faith at all.
I
And I
don't
can't think
ever
of it.
expect them to. Like I just have a more
Yeah,
growing up
no,
in Louisiana and then living in
that's
Vegas, I
true.
have a much more realistic sense of what politicians
Oh,
actually are and what to
hell,
expect from them. And we
but
we
you
had
and
Edwin Edwards as a governor for 4 terms.
But hell, in Vegas though, but me and you both lived under the glorious reign of Mr. Goodman, and he was
Yeah.
like one of the best politicians of all time. And he was good faith. He told you exactly what he was into. Had no qualms about taking money from people, and he would boast about it. He did like ads for liquor companies. He did like all that stuff like that he did, and I respected him. He didn't bullshit people about it. Like he came right out and said like like look like I can if they're going to pay us this much money, then we can also that means we can fix these roads. If they do this. He was very open about the fact that he was making those kind of deals, and I liked him. I think, and
Yeah,
I
I
even like
like
his
Oscar
I like it. I think
mostly.
his wife too. I mean, I'm going to agree with everything, but like he was consistently he was. I mean, he was kind of like the ultimate idea of like what a Vegas mayor would be like. But
Well,
like
he was from back in the day when the mob used to rule the
I
town.
know. I know, and he had that kind
So it
of
was like
that
that old way
Vegas-y
of doing
yeah, he had that Vegas
business.
mob kind of, like, attitude to him, and I don't know, it was honest anyway, and, like, there was something refreshing about that to me. I liked him. I liked it his wife took over after he after he couldn't be do you know that? That, as soon as, like, he termed
Carolyn?
yeah, as soon as he termed out, his wife just stepped in and just and ran and won the landslide, and she's still mayor as far as I know.
Oh.
So it's like
Were you there? I remember there was some, like, I think it was the city council. There's like what 10 people on it or something, and eight of them got arrested for corruption all at the same time, and they were all Democrats.
Yeah.
That was like in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, but I remember that happening. I mean, it almost seems like it almost seems like you should expect it when in Vegas. Though it seems like that's what Vegas is made for, like corrupt politicians and gamblers and mobsters and
Yeah.
everything else. And that's like the real Vegas that's gotten paved over by all the suburbia, but like it's still the real Vegas is still under there somewhere. Like the
Yeah, it is. I mean, all the casinos still run by it. I
yeah.
campaigned for a few of them. I don't think anything went. I campaigned for Dina Titus. Jack Carter, Jimmy Carter's brother, was running for our son was running for Congress, U.S. Congress. I was on his campaign team.
I guess so.
And I campaigned again. I don't know if you remember the Ricardo Francis, whatever. She's this dingbat white lady. I campaigned for her opponent, but she ended up winning anyway. She was completely useless. You'd go to the recorder, and she's just walking around with a water pitcher, like with this fake smile on her face, like she's a stewardess on an airplane, offering to pour everybody water. Would you like some water? Would you like some water? Would you like some water? That's all she did.
It's weird. That's weird. That's it. That's like gotta be the worst campaign slogan I've ever heard.
She was so phony. I couldn't stand her. And they didn't do like the office was so they couldn't do any, like if you went there to get them to actually do something, they couldn't do it. It was all about her appearances. She was just trying to make the office look a certain way, maybe to compensate for the lack of competence. So I wanted that other guy in office. He was a Republican, so I supported him, but he didn't win.
Well, I certainly understand. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The closest I ever got into really got into politics beyond like talking politics here on streams and stuff like that. The closest I ever got into was getting a little bit like I partially because I was interested in it, partially because like I had a crush on a girl. I went to a few protests around the time like the Iraq War stuff happened, but then I showed up to like 2 or 3 of them, and I just realized how completely like pointless it was. It was just like There's a bunch of hippies. They get together in like this park or something, and we'd hang a banner over like an overpass or something, and chant like and sing like Beatles songs and stuff like that. And it was just like, oh, it was cute, but this wasn't doing anything. It wasn't. It just wasn't. This was not an effective means of trying to affect change, and it just like I don't know. It kind of disillusioned me from political action for some time. I mean, granted, I do prefer that over like the black bloc. Let's go break shit. Go break shit, and that'll make people change their mind. That was one of those things that
Vegas is a hard town to be politically active in.
Yeah,
I mean, most of the population is indifferent to that.
It's a hard town to do a lot of things in. It's a hard town to be an artist in. Hard town to to meet people in a lot of ways. I mean, I end up meeting quite a few people.
Oh my god, I met hundreds of people. I met more people in Vegas than probably anywhere I've lived.
I met a ton of people. In terms of, I mean, when I say meet, I mean like meeting friends, like making good friends. Like I ultimately did make a few, or several actually. But
making friends you could trust, because you can't trust anybody.
That's Vegas. What I meant. That's what I meant. I did ultimately make a few friends I could trust, but it took years.
Yeah, I did too. They the good thing about Vegas is the ones you can trust tend to show themselves, because they stand out against the contrast of normal Vegas.
I mean, that's
they really make themselves stand out.
The girl I just showed the picture to you of, the girl Angie that ruined everything here. Like that's what I thought of her. That's I thought she was like one of the few people I could trust. But I was wrong with that. But yeah, I mean, once again, she almost certainly has mental health issues that were not. I mean, I'm not no one to diagnose them in the first place, but like they were just undiagnosed or diagnosed without my knowledge, and so I was dealing with someone that was dealing with something that I did not understand, and that's where a lot of the problem came from. But still, it was but she had been a real trustworthy person up to that point. Of course, I met her when she was 16. She was an employee at the movie theater I managed. I mean, knew that girl from the time she was 16 all the way up to nearly 30. So it was a real shame all that happened with her, but that's neither here nor there anymore. I was just gonna say something too. I just had something occurred to me, and I can't remember what it was. Oh well. Yeah, I don't know. Overall, I think I don't know if maybe it's just the Israel-Palestine thing that kind of but I have to say I am really thoroughly burnt out on politics at the moment. Like, I'm just political stuff in general. I just couldn't really give a shit, and I think a lot of that probably has more than anything to do with just like life stuff. I'm trying to juggle so many things right now, trying to figure out like if I had to move, if I have to do this, I have to do that. Trying to find a way to get money. Like we have got to find a way to get some income, because I've got rent paid, but I don't have money for electric bills, stuff like that. I've got a lot of things like that.
Have you thought about setting up a Patreon? People keep telling me to do that.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't really think that. I don't know that I don't know. I feel bad.
You can even set up YouTube to like do super chats and stuff.
I know. I don't think you have to have a certain subscriber count for that. But
right.
Yeah, I think anyone can set up a Patreon, or GoFundMe's and stuff like that. I don't know. I hate internet begging. I don't want to do that. I mean, it might come to that at some point. But I mean, so far,
I mean, all the other streamers do it.
I know, and I don't like it. I don't like it when they do it either. But if I did a Patreon, I feel like I need to at least be producing some kind of content or something to, beyond like just being a guest on shows just like that. I feel like I don't feel like I produce anything on my own or anything that's uniquely me in any sense that like people would be. It would just be people just like basically being like, oh hey, we don't want you to be homeless kind of thing, and that's nice, but I don't know. I would feel a certain amount of guilt about it. I would get over it, I guess, but still. I don't know.
Isn't that what churches do? Like the community donates to the fund, and then they use it to help out whatever members.
Supposedly, but they don't usually.
I don't know. I've seen churches.
I'm not saying I haven't seen churches do that, but I haven't seen many churches do that in a long time. But then again, I haven't gone to church in a long time, so um, usually churches, like, they take in all their offerings or donation stuff, and they usually just build more church stuff. But God, there's some churches here.
But I
I
think they do community like
outreach stuff.
service
Yeah,
too. But
I could
that's part
definitely
of being
look
in a
into that.
community.
I could definitely look into that. Yeah, I got a call. I'm gonna mute go off camera for a second. I'll be back.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I have any tweets. I think I have a few. Oh yeah, I want to go over that tweet from yesterday. Now that Chris is here. Yeah, let me find it. Chris is on the phone, and when he gets back, we're gonna watch a video and talk about it. Let me see if there's anything on YouTube. No, not really. Andrew and Jim Bob are still doing TikTok invasions. Machine Lies did a pretty interesting stream last night. Lots of wild conversation. I'm trying to keep this channel like more reason-based or rational. I can't do a lot of that just like idle theorizing or speculation just for the sake of spinning off theories. I like to talk about actual things. I got an on that Jordan Peterson to Big Five. I got an 18 on intellect, which surprised me because I have a high intellect and I 18 out of 100. But then when I read the description, it's not necessarily intelligence or IQ. It's more like an interest in theory and abstract concepts, although I love philosophy. And from that point, it made sense. I don't have a lot of patience or get a lot of enjoyment out of talking about metaphysical or theoretical or abstract, like empty theorizing that's not attached to anything concrete. And I think that the 18 in intellect was intellect being one of the big five. I think it's part of openness. Each trait is divided into two subcategories or something, and one of the openness is intellect and something else. Let me see if I could find it. It's called understandmyself.com, and I took the test a while back here on stream. It's somewhere on the channel if you want to go look at it. And yeah, openness is intellect and aesthetics. I'm very high in aesthetics and very low in what they're calling intellect, which sounds more like abstract theorizing. So it doesn't surprise me that the type of activity that people that engage in that type of thinking um, enjoy is not something that matches me, my personality. And then neuroticism, but believe it or not, I'm moderately low. I got a 31 in neuroticism. I thought it would be a lot higher. And neuroticism is defined to withdrawal and volatility. I thought my volatility would be higher. It's only a 38. And my withdrawal, I thought would be lower. It's a 27. Let's see. Extroversion, of course, I'm high in that. Enthusiasm was very high. It was a 92. My assertiveness was average. I thought it would be higher too, because people usually find me very direct. Conscientiousness was I knew consciousness is weird because it depends on what, because not in addition to like the two subcategories, there's 6 subfacets, and it depends on which one of those you look at, because depending on what facet of consciousness you're talking about, I'm either really high in it or really low in it. But they divide the two categories are industriousness, which I got, they said moderately high, 67, and orderliness, which I think that was my lowest score. I got a 9 out of 100, and I already knew that I'm not orderly or structured at all. And then one of the other traits is agreeableness. I got average, 54, but it's divided to compassion, which was very high, and it was an 88. And then politeness, I got a 12 in politeness, which also did not surprise me. So that's the big 5 breakdown for anybody interested. And then another good test to take if you enjoy taking tests is Jonathan Haidt's Moral Foundations quiz. I think it's at yourmorals.org. I think that one's free to take. They have a whole bunch of tests, but the Moral Foundations one is that's like the one that everybody goes there to take. And those didn't really surprise me either. And those are rated on a scale of 1 to 5. So like in care harm as a moral foundation, the average is 3.7 out of 5. I got a 3, so I'm a little lower than the average person there. Equality, the average is 2.9. I'm a 1.7, which is way lower. I'm higher in loyalty. The average is 2.6, so right about in the middle. And I'm at a 3.2, which I think I'm higher. This one really surprised me. On the authority axis, what is it? Because they come in pairs. They're like antithetical pairs. Leadership and followership. The average is 2.4. I got a 3.2. Like, I'm way more authoritarian than I realized. Here's the interesting one. Purity. Most people, that's the lowest one. That's one of the lowest average. In purity, the average is 1.9. I have a 1.3. I'm way at the impure end of purity, which I expect it to be. But I didn't expect the rest of the average to also be that low either. I mean, humans are not just, they're not as pure as they like to think themselves. And then proportionality, which I'm really big on, instead of equity or equality, the average is 3. I got a 4.3. That was actually my highest. So that's another test if you're interested in taking those kind of tests. I wonder who he's on the phone with.
I'm on hold at the moment. I'm on the phone with the doctor thing though, waiting to hear back for something. But as soon as it's done, I'll be back on.
Oh, is that an ENT?
No, it's not the ENT. It just like they're calling to schedule a follow up for Lindsay for her teeth thing, and then I remembered I had to call back and then after I did that, then I remembered I had to call to schedule something else. So because I forgot about it, so I was gonna do it before it gets because it's already close to 6. So I've already missed it. It may be, usually if I call before 6, they'll still work, but we'll see.
Oh, right. It's almost 6.
Yeah. But we said we were experimenting today to see if if getting if doing a later got us any more viewers. I guess that's not working out. It's like we got nobody, huh? I got nobody in the comments. Nothing.
Yeah, but
Not
we
even
haven't
Patty.
been lately, really.
Oh, with Patty or somebody's usually in the comments. I mean, last several streams, but usually I guess earlier more like 3 or 4.
I don't know.
Anyway, but I'll be back in a second.
Okay.
I can still hear you. I just don't want it to whenever I start talking on the phone, I don't want it to. I'll answer if you ask me a question though.
No, that's fine. Take care of that. I'll find something to entertain, amuse, or stimulate the couple of audience that we have, which we do desperately appreciate, believe me. And if anyone wants to come on stream, just click the link. And there's a few tweets on Twitter, but they're just more Israel tweets. I wouldn't say there's anything new. Oh, let me check one other thing. I'm getting nappy. Eric Prince. How is he in the news again? I mean, not really the news, but he should have been a YouTube video. I want to do something different with this stream. I want it to be more appealing to people who want to have dialogues, conversations, and are interested in truth seeking and sense making, and like the Socratic dialectic of finding truth through or exploring truth through dialogue. Everyone probably has a Halloween hangover. I didn't even think of that. Or they're out partying with the Day of the Dead people. That always looked fun. I know Austin did a big Day of the Dead when I was living there. That was probably my first encounter with it because we really don't have that in Louisiana, at least not in the parts I lived in. We have All Souls Day because it's real Catholic, which I think is Day of the Dead Catholic too. Mexican Catholic.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's just basically the Mexicanized Catholic version of the All Souls Day. Yeah.
It says, although related to simultaneously Christian remembrances, it's much less solemn and portrayed as a holiday of joyful celebration. So it looks like they don't really know the history of it. Some argue that there's indigenous Mexican or ancient Aztec influences. They don't know if it's pre-Hispanic, indigenous, or if it's a rebranding of a Spanish tradition that was brought to Mexico. So anyway, yeah, maybe they're working on their Day of the Dead hangover. I like the little pumpkin, by the way.
Good to know you're out there, Adjeville. Good to know someone's out there.
Yeah, I saw you in the comments last night on Machine's stream too. making sense. Way more sense than some of the people on the panel. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I don't want this stream to turn into some of these other streams. Not that there's not a place for that. I'm set up to do something different. I'm just temperamentally wired for something other than that. And so I want to do something more Socratic on this stream.
I think for the most part we've actually done a pretty good job of that. We've had a lot of really good conversations on here. I mean,
well, we do until we get into the conspiracy territory, which is where the other streams start to drift out of the Socratic approach as well.
Yeah, I know, but a lot of those streams also start there and end there. I'm just saying, like it, you maybe like it's like that. Maybe sometimes like there's like a little fat at the beginning and fat at the end, but for the most part, the prime part of the stream in the middle is usually pretty damn good. And I mean, people have definitely mentioned it and given us a lot of compliments for that. So I'm very thankful for those. Lets me know anyway that, like, you know, it's what we're doing isn't for nothing. You know, that somebody's getting something out of it.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I was reading the Wikipedia article on conspiracy theories, and I want to go over it one day, not today though, but one of the features of conspiracy theories is that it makes use of several logical fallacies that they identify, and I think that is what's clashing with me. Is I'm noticing those fallacies the minute they show up. And it's throwing off the rational conversation I'm trying to have. Let me find the. Well, they had a list of them. Now I'm not seeing it. That's so weird that I could read something like 2 hours ago and then all of a sudden it's not there.
Yeah, I know. I have that happen to me all the time too.
Oh, not fallacies, biases. That's what I'm thinking of. Cognitive biases, proportionality bias, the attribution bias, and the confirmation bias. And I think I'm just biased in a different way.
Sounds reasonable.
And the proportionality bias is the tendency to assume that big events have big causes. The attribution bias is a cognitive bias that refers to systematic errors made when people try to evaluate or find reasons for their own or others' behaviors. They constantly make judgments and assumptions about why people behave in certain ways. That's always bothered me, is the insight into psychological motivation that they seem to have, that I'm always very cautious about. And then confirmation bias, which is the tendency to search for, interpret, favor, and recall information in a way that confirms or supports your prior beliefs or values. And that's like the opposite of rational inquiry, where you try to suspend your biases and follow the evidence, independent of any biases. Hey, Juniper.
she's kind of struggling with me at the moment. She's trying really hard to get the computer, and I'm not letting her.
Oh, she doesn't know that you're not on camera, right? Like she can't see. She can see me, right?
She can see you. Yeah, she can see you. And like I've got the headphone. I got one of the headphones turned out so she can kind of hear you a little bit. But
hey, Juniper.
I've only got one ear. On this, and the other ear is on the phone on the hold thing. So
hey, Juniper. That's so interesting because usually kids are like drawn to children's shows like Sesame Streets and puppets and cartoons. And she's
She
grown
loves
to
watching.
adults having conversations on
She
live
she,
streams.
she really is. I mean, she likes children's shows sometimes too, but she'll watch like a news program like a lot more intently than. But I mean
Some little
that lines up with what we know about boys and girls. Though girls are more interested in people.
puppets. I need some like child things to entertain her with.
We could start doing an.
I hated cartoons as a kid. Like, give me a show with real people on it. I didn't want to watch animated fake people.
There's an idea. We could do basically the same show we do now, or the same just a show like Paul or anybody else does a political show, but we can do all puppets.
Hey, baby, come and get some.
We can just turn it into a puppet show, and like that way it will really confuse people. We'll talk about really
I would
serious
love
issues.
to do little puppet shows. We could do like finger puppets and like make characters. And oh, I have some. Wait, are they here? My friend gave me these little. They're like little stuffed animals that you put on your fingers. It's like a squirrel and a mouse and a bear and a rat, and they even had a dragon. And they're like stuffed animal finger puppets. I need to find them. She would love that. I just have like a skull, a Satan statue, some mammies. That's really all I have for her. Weed necklace. Yeah, I'm not really set up for kids shows over here. Oh, I'm supposed to be finding something to entertain with. Let me look at Twitter. I'm so, like, when I was on my own, I had all this stuff I would fill time with, but I've been doing it with co-hosts for so much. I don't have anything when I'm on my own again.
Oh, we could go balls to the wall and just and bring up TikTok,
Well, I think Jim Bob is he still doing it? He was TikTok bombing. Oh, Jack Talcott's on. Experiential alchemy. That sounds interesting. I like Jack's streams for some reason. Yeah, Jim Bob's over, but he did a TikTok invasion today.
That's just whenever he just shows up to a TikTok stream and
yeah, there's like infinite. So you can just pull up. I don't want to make a TikTok account. You have to have an account to do it, but there's a live stream tab, and there's just you can scroll. There's just every live. It's like an infinite pool of live streamers, and you can just browse through them. It's like you just swipe. They just keep like they pull up one. If it doesn't look interesting, they swipe to the next one, and when they find one that looks interesting, then you can request to join it. But it's not like ours. First of all, it's like phone size, so it's vertical and it's mostly a background, and then the people are really small, and you can't really see their faces. It's just little avatars and stuff, so it's more just audio, like more like Clubhouse or Twitter Space with a little bit of graphics.
I never saw Clubhouse. It went under before I ever.
That's because Twitter Spaces came and bumped it.
I thought it died way before that.
It's just voice. There's no video component to it.
Oh, there's no video. Okay, I didn't even know. It was like a pure podcasting thing.
What do you call those group phone calls?
Yeah, I gotcha. Party line.
Party line, yeah. It's like a big party line. I wish there was a way to stream to Twitter Spaces, because Twitter Spaces can bring in a lot of people. You can have like 50, 100 people on there sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about Twitter. I don't go on Twitter enough, but it kind of seems like a good community thing. But it kind of seems like we already have Discord, though. Why would we need that?
I wish you could stream to Discord too.
Can't you sort of though? You can at least you can record it, can't you? I think you can stream with Discord. I could have sworn you could.
Not from StreamYard.
Oh. Doesn't Discord have its own built-in
you
streaming
can
stuff?
stream from Discord to YouTube. Like you, instead of using StreamYard, you could use Discord.
I don't know why they would make it where it wouldn't work with it. It seems like that would be hurting them.
I don't know why StreamYard has certain platforms available and not others. It's probably related to their development team, but let me Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and something called Hopin. That's all you can stream to.
Mm-hmm. Can you take it for just a minute? I'm sorry. I'm really having trouble focusing at the moment. There's lots of ice cream down there, babe. Why don't you go to the freezer and pull some out and let it soften? Anyway. I don't know, my monitoring went out suddenly. I don't know why, so I can't hear my voice, but I can hear you fine. But it sounds weird because it sounds like I can't hear my voice now, but I keep thinking it's not working.
Well, we've been going for an hour. You want to just wrap up today, and we can pick up.
Yeah, I guess
tomorrow?
it's pretty slow today. It doesn't seem like anybody's really around much. We don't really have anything. I'm working on some stuff. Hopefully, I'll have some more stuff to talk about tomorrow. I'm still struggling with like this
the
medication and stuff. It's really fucking with my focus will be really good for like half an hour. I'm giving up on this whole thing. It'll be really good for like half an hour, and then suddenly like I'll ultimately lose my ability to like focus on anything, and then like it's weirdly like it's made my vertigo a lot more tolerable, but it's also made my vertigo a lot worse. Like I literally have been falling more. Like but like I don't feel bad. I feel good in fact, but I like literally I stumbled down the hallway just like a little while ago, like, and there was just like it was like out of nowhere. I was just like entirely lost my balance. So I don't know. It's been a crazy week. It's really kind of messing with my head a little bit, but maybe we're I still feel like I'm on the verge of like things turning around. It's just taking some time is all. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, let's do that. What time you want to do it tomorrow?
Let's just do it. I guess since
I have something I have something tomorrow afternoon, so it'll either have to be before or after that.
Whatever you set it for, I'll look it up. I'll find it. I mean, yeah, just set it for.
We could do 3 like we normally do, or we could try an evening stream like at 8 or 9.
Well, if you're bored tomorrow afternoon, you want to do one around 3 for an hour or so, I'd be down. And then if that goes kind of like this, then we could always do an evening stream. In fact, if you're up for an evening stream tonight, we can do that too. I don't know who's gonna be streaming. But maybe some of our cohorts will be around, and we can get into something.
Well, tonight's Survivor, but
I forgot.
Like maybe if you're still up after that, but it'll be like 11.
I'm almost always up at that time, so yeah, definitely.
Because sometimes I'm hyped up after Survivor. I have a lot of energy.
Sure, yeah. Let's try that.
Well, I'll play it by ear. Maybe I'll message you.
All right, yeah.
I wonder if Machine's doing a stream tonight because he moved to Wednesday, or if last night was taking the place of the one he would normally do today. I don't see anything listed. Okay, yeah. I'll do that. I might. If you don't hear from me tonight, we'll just stream tomorrow around 3.
All right. Sounds good to me, man. I'll see you later.
Oh, take care.
You too.
And everyone else, have a good All Souls Day. We'll be back tomorrow.
All Souls Day.